Hey everyone, I'm Lisa O'Neill, founder of Breakaway Public Relations, and thanks for joining us today. We've got a Q&A on a topic that sometimes comes our way as PR professionals, but I like to consult with the social media experts, such as my friend here, Angela Arnold, for a topic on negative online reviews. Angela has her own marketing consulting firm, and she has a good 20 years experience dealing with online communities. And she's run international social media teams for some of the largest consumer brands on earth. She is passionate about changing how companies can create community with customers and employees. So I'm going to throw some of these tough questions her way. And thank you, Angela, for joining us today.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm excited to talk about this.
Okay, so we'll get started here. So how quickly, when you see a negative online review, how quickly should you jump in and respond?
Yeah, it's easy to forget that they are there if you don't have it built into your everyday checklist, or maybe every week or every month. But really the best answer is to respond as quickly as possible, because you don't know how many of your potential customers are looking at your Yelp page, at your Google My Business page, or any places where reviews may appear. And every day that goes by could be an unknown number of potential customers who see that review that hasn't been responded to. So a cheap piece of advice I like to give to business owners is set a reminder in your calendar, either every week or every couple of weeks, to go in and check your reviews if you don't have alerts set for any new ones that come in.
Yeah, that is a great idea. Like that. Well, and then what if this review is posted in multiple places? Do you need to hit them all at the same time, or just do one?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes when people are mad, they tend to spray and pray, and so they will post a negative review in every channel that they can find. And some business owners say, well, I already responded to it on Facebook. Why do I need to respond elsewhere? But think about it. Not everyone uses all those channels. They're not looking up your business on every potential website that's out there. They may only go to Yelp. And if they see a review that's not responded to, even though you responded to it on Facebook, then you're missing out on that opportunity to show a potential customer how you respond and how you think.
Very true. Okay. Well, so now how do you decide when to respond to a negative online review, or which negative online reviews you want to respond to? Is there a checklist?
Yeah, that's another good question. I think some people think they have to respond to every single review, and the answer is you don't. Some are clearly a little biased from the reviewer, or they may even be a single word. You know, if they leave a review that just says sucks, there's not really anything you can do to respond to that. And sometimes people are just venting and there's nothing you can do about it. But for the most part, I recommend business owners respond to every review, because, and especially the negative ones, because it's their opportunity to tell their story. Why do you as a business owner have those policies in place? Why do you train your employees to respond the way that they do? These are representative of your core values. And even though you're responding to that one person directly, what you're really doing is showing every other prospective customer what you believe in and why you run your business that way. So these are opportunities for you to show what matters to you as a business. And so I think it's important to respond to as many as you can. Again, unless it's something that there's no good response that you can create from it.
Yeah. Got it. Good deal. Well, then what are the key components of a good response to these folks? Because I know, like I say, there's for different industries and certain ones I've seen, especially retail, a lot of freebies going on.
Yeah, and it's common with big consumer companies that have maybe a lower margin product and lots of sales, where it's easy for them to say, sorry, you had a bad experience, here's 10% off, or come in for a free meal next time that you visit our restaurant. But what this can do is train people to complain, because then they see they get rewarded for doing so. I think it's important for a business owner to stand their ground and say, here's why we did what we did, here's what we believe in. I would only offer a good a freebie or some kind of incentive if it seems like you can win them back. You know, some people may say, well, I loved the food, but the service wasn't great. That person, you may be able to say, hey, why don't you come back? You may get a different server this time and have a better experience. Then I think it's appropriate to give a freebie, but I wouldn't default to giving something away every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does make sense. And then how do folks respond without sounding really defensive or angry?
Yeah, that can be a problem for some people, right? It's your business, it's your baby. And when you see people being unreasonable, maybe they came into your business and you had a bad experience and they're only telling their side of the story, we get emotionally involved. And so I've spoken with some business owners who they have a review that they know they can't respond to because if they start writing it, they know that they'll sound angry or defensive or emotional. And so what I recommend that they do is draft their response, again, thinking that it's not winning that person back. It's not about arguing with them over he said or she said. It's about telling your story to future customers and potential customers. And that layer of removal tends to help a little of the emotional part of it. And my other advice is to draft your response and then send to someone else to look at it. Send it to, if they have a PR firm, send it to them to review, or even send to their colleague or coworker to make sure that that you're not sounding defensive, because it's very easy to do so, again, when it's your business and you really care.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. So now here's one. If your response isn't accepted by these unhappy people, the first time, I mean, it could drag on, right? So how long should you continue to engage?
Yeah, the answer is not many people will accept your response. They had their negative experience and they felt strongly enough about it that they went to a website, created an account, wrote a review, and posted it. Most of the time, they just want to keep arguing with you. The rule that I use is one and done. So respond to the review, state your piece, say, and apologize. Sometimes it's important to say, we are sorry that you had this experience, but here's why we responded the way that we did, or here's the steps we're taking to correct it. And then if they keep responding, usually what people will do is they will change the topic. They'll pick out another piece of the story, or they'll bring up a new detail that they didn't talk about before. But at that point, there's almost no return, nothing positive that comes out of continuing to respond. So I always recommend one and done is the rule of thumb there.
Yep, you answered, you were respectful.
Yep, and sometimes that's all you can do.
Yeah. Well, and I know on Facebook and Yelp, there are ways for some of the business owners to either block users or remove negative comments. So do you recommend taking that step?
Yeah, that one's hard, right? It's easy to want to remove, especially if the person's being unreasonable or it was an exception. It's easy to want to remove that and just hide it. But what I tell business owners is online reviews are a great opportunity for customers to tell their side of the story. 10 or 15 years ago, they didn't have a voice. And so I think it's leveled the playing field for both businesses and customers to have more of a conversation and to speak with each other. Of course, some people abuse that by really trashing a business or going after them. But for the most part, I think it's important that people are able to voice dissatisfaction with a business. So I like leaving them up. I think it's important to show that, your business maybe isn't for everyone, or you have specific policies that people may not agree with. The only time I recommend removing a review is if they're posting multiple times over and over again, or inviting their friends who weren't involved to pile on and add additional reviews. But think about it, if you're looking at a business and evaluating, do I want to go there or do business with them, and it's nothing but positive reviews, it ticks something in our brains of maybe this isn't as legitimate as I thought, or maybe they're hiding the negative reviews. Having one or two negative reviews on your profiles can actually help, because it seems more legitimate and more real. And it also, again, allows your business to say, sorry you had a bad experience, but here's why we have these policies in place. So you're explaining again to those prospective customers, here's what we do and why.
Yeah, that really makes sense, because I know as a user, I would be wary of total positive reviews across.
Nothing but 5 stars ticks a little thing. Yeah.
I would not trust that. And I do like to see how folks respond to the negative ones. So, yeah, well, this is perfect. I really appreciate your time. This has been helpful. Hope everybody else finds it helpful as well. And again, Angela Arnold, angela-arnold.com, marketing expert. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Lisa. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah.